Welcome to the AEW Dynamite Wrestling Universe Review. My name is Cosk. I am joined by Jordan and Y2 Wrestling. Before we start off, I will have to give a warning. We had a bit of technical difficulties, so the only beautiful face you're going to be seeing here is mine. But there's worse faces to see, so you're welcome. Now that I'm done stroking my ego, let's get into this Dynamite. This is a weekly review of Dynamite. We will be covering this, me and Y2, and any special guest. This week it's Jordan. We will be covering AEW Dynamite every week, and we start off with a hell of a show. Some people are calling this an all-timer episode. We'll get into our thoughts as the show goes on, but let's get into Jungle Boy versus Hook. All killer, no filler. Jungle Boy Hook. What did you think of this match, Jordan?
Man, this match I thought it was fairly entertaining. That man Hook, he is a slugger and a slugger all the way through, and he proved he can go out there and because originally I was worried about Hook hanging with Jungle Boy, argu- arguably I
Arguably.
can't speak, but I was there we go. I was worried about him because Jungle Boy has had these matches with the like of Christian Cage, Kenny Omega, Sonata, world champions. He's had the match, the MJF. He had that four-way between all of them. So he's had these matches under his belt, and that's not something Hook has. He's had those 5-minute matches where he has most of the offense, and he's just showing off what moves he can do. Right? Those flash contests, basically. Right? So going into this match, I was a little worried for both Hook and Jungle Boy because I was wondering if he could play the heel role well, right? But man, both of those doubts that were in me were shattered. Hook went out there and he proved he can have him some insane spots. The T-bone off the apron, insane. The the combo bridging suplexes, insane. He did a spot where he was near the barricade and he gave Jungle Boy a clothesline that dang near took his head off. Insane. When they went picture to picture, he gave Jungle Boy some chops, and those boys were insane. And Jungle Boy, he played that hero perfectly because it was sort of like he felt cocky, but at the same time, he still tried to move out the way. He was a coward. He kept running from Hook, even though he's the one who stoked that Hook flame, that flame within Hook. He's not the one on the run. And overall, I thought both of them played their roles well and did what they needed to, and it makes me happy because this company is now in good hands.
Yeah, this was really a showcase match for both of them, I'd say, because Jungle Boy is his first match as a heel. Jungle Boy is a great wrestler, that's never been his problem, but, you know, going from this underneath underdog to now this cowardly heel, that's going to mean that your in ring work has to change a lot, and I feel like Jungle Boy transitions really well. I also feel that Hook, for like his first proper match, I know he's had matches in the past, I know he's had competitive matches, but this is like his first real challenge. Like the first time Hook was like an actual danger and you didn't know the finish before the bell rang. And I feel like he showcased. I feel like he did pretty good selling. I feel like he hit some pretty big moves that popped the crowd. He hit beautiful German suplexes.
Mwah.
Like he dropped Jungle Boy like right on his neck. They look gnarly. Saying gnarly like I live in the 90s. But anyways, uh, we we can't really talk about this match without talking about the elephant in the room, which is Jungle Boy has a new team song. Obviously, his team song, the waving your arms like this, singing along, it doesn't really work with a heel, a cowardly heel. So they had to change it. They played it at first, but then they had this like vignette of Jungle Boy kind of burying the Jurassic Express Jungle Boy, which kayfabe wise, I guess means that Jungle Boy murdered someone and put him in his clothes. So hashtag cancel Jungle Boy. But nonetheless, what did you think of this team change? What do you like the new team song, Y2?
Um, I'm on the fence about it. I think it's good that he changed the music because obviously he's a heel now. Yeah, I might have went for something more flashy, going more of a Hollywood Jack per- Hollywood Jack Perry type route. But I think classical music in wrestling entrance themes could be really good. I guess we'll see. If it fits in the future. I think it could. I think it has potential.
Yeah, and obviously we're gonna move on to the finish now because it was quite a surprise. Not really a surprising finish, but quite a notable finish. Jungle Boy would hit Hook with the title while the ref is down. He would go for the cover, and while smirking while doing it, he would get the 1, 2, 3. For the first time since Sabu, we have a non-Team Taz or non-Taz / Team Taz FTW champion. What did you think about this, Jordan?
I thought, well, my mind. Okay, y'all gotta bear with me here. So we know that Christian's whole thing was that he pretty much thought Jungle Boy was weak, right?
Yeah.
That if Jungle Boy was gonna get the job done, he had to change, right? And I thought it was interesting because how did I technically I should be saying Luchasaurus, but let's be honest, it's how did Christian Cage win the TNT Championship by hitting Wardlow over the head with a foreign object, and how did Jungle Boy just win the FTW Championship by hitting Hook over the head with a foreign object? So you can kind of see that corruption really start, and that's why I personally like the finish. Now, I don't think the ref bump was entirely necessary, but it was for the sake of him cheating, so I'll allow it. One thing I know you did note to me beforehand was that there was a low blow there that didn't really do much.
Yeah,
So I feel like that's the thing if they had to cut something, that's the thing they should have cut, the low blow. But
absolutely.
I mean, it was all done in good effort to protect Hook. So maybe it's not. Oh, he didn't just go to down with just a blow to the head. He had to take a little bit more. So, I guess.
Waisu, do you have any final thoughts on this match? I guess he doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on a few words. Anyways, we move on to I will say overall a good match. I
Oh
think.
shoot! I had my mic muted.
Okay. Do you want to go
Uh,
now?
yeah, quick thoughts. Yeah, they were protecting a Hook. That was his first loss in AEW. I'm excited to see where the story will go. With I'd like to see Taz get involved. I feel like he can really elevate the story. He can cut a really good promo. I like his intensity, the work he did with Team Taz with Cage and Starks and Hobbs and again Hook. I guess in the beginning. So yeah, I think it has potential to bring the story to another gear. I think all the tools are there.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like overall my thoughts on this was a really good showcase match for both. I feel like both delivered honestly. Like really good sequences, really good showing for Hook. I feel like this can lead to really good things. I think getting Taz involved and maybe having uh, Hollywood Jack Perry or whatever he calls himself attack Taz to bring more heat to the story. So like yeah, I feel like there's a lot of really good things they can do here. I feel like eventually, not now because of the Adam Cole stuff, like it would be too similar, but eventually MJF Jungle Jack's like partnership would go really well because they've like MJF said during their Forbidden Door, not their Four Pillars feud that hey, we could have run this company together. You just have to ditch all of your friends and just being that type of guy. And like Jungle Boy's done that now. Jack Perry's done that now. So like, I feel like there's a lot of good work. I feel like there's a lot of good work both of these men can do, and I'm also really interested to see what Hook will do without the FTW Championship. Obviously, he's going to continue this Jack Perry feud, but like after that is like where this is really interesting to me. Is he going to move up to the TNT title scene, the international title scene? Maybe start a tag team and go for the tag titles. Like, there's a lot of really interesting routes. He's gonna have like a big feud. Where would you go next with Hook, Jordan?
Okay, right now I would have him play that cat and mouse game with Jungle Boy for a little while just to see the payoff. I'm not sure if I would have him we my fault. I can't speak. It's like 10 where I'm at. I'm not sure if I would have him winning back just yet, but I would have him play that cat and mouse game. But you did give me an idea. I think he would go great in the international scene. And him, a match between, because I'm convinced, a match between him and Cassidy would cook. And him being in that scene would give us the ability to really see Hook, like wrestling Hook, not just the character, the badass get in the ring, finish the match in 3 minutes, and leave. Now we're gonna be able to see the wrestler Hook if we do put him into the international scene. But but I think it would be better to put him into the TNT scene because it does need a little bit of help. It does need just a wee bit of help because I know people aren't really happy about the people who are contending for the titles right now. So Hook, he still is popular, so putting him in that scene could really help.
Absolutely. We move on to these are two segments. I'm going to kind of put them into one because they're very similar. They're kind of continuing the story. Over the past few weeks, we've seen Don Callis try to recruit the Ocho, Chris Jericho, into his stable, the Callis family. And this week, they seemed, to say the least, overly chummy, I suppose. I'm not British, but I use the most British term ever. Um, so yeah, like, first we had Alex Marvez basically stalking Chris Jericho and Don Callis during a dinner where they seemed very, very close. And later on, Alex Marvez went for an interview with them when they come out of the limo together, and they basically tell him to shut up because, of course, they would. He's stalking them. I do not like Alex Marvez. Um, what did you think of this? Do you think Chris Jericho will be joining the Callis family, and do you think it's a good idea?
Well, first off, I would just like to say that I do get a kick out of these segments. Uh, First is Shivani just entering the locker room with to hear the conversation with QT and Hobbs, and he's there, and just nobody's bothered by it. And now this time, Marvez is just like peeping, like taking a look, like from a corner where you wouldn't even see it. It feels ridiculous, but it is something that I can imagine the media would do. Now, as for Jericho joining the Don Callis family, I think it will happen. With Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara going their separate ways. Maybe single. Maybe they'll feud with Jericho. Depends on that. And then also, I just think it adds strength that this faction with Takeshita as the main wrestler really loads up that faction and makes it more main event. As for if it's a good idea, I think it can be. I think I'm a little concerned only because Jericho has, his whole time in AEW, he's done faction work, and I would really like to see him do a solo run in AEW. But yeah, no, I think it could be really good because Jericho is a great promo on his day, and Callis is a really great promo. So when you combine those two, I think you could make magic.
Do you have any thoughts, Jordan?
Uh, Not really, yeah, not nothing that he hasn't already said. I know Chris Jericho has a bit of people online who are pretty anti Chris Jericho, but in my opinion, he's one of the greats. He's up there in the conversation. So, uh, I feel like as long as you're putting him out there, he's gonna be able to at least make something sort of entertaining and put the work in. And at the end of the day, I feel like this is going to be the an opportunity mostly for Takeshita. Having that veteran presence near him is going to really help Takeshita. You feel?
I will also like to take a moment of silence for the career of Jake Hager. I really hope he enjoys Ring of Honor and McDonald's.
Jesus.
Jesus.
That's harsh, friend. Come on. A man in his hat.
Oh,
How can you not appreciate that?
You should get into a fashion career.
Come on, he left his undefeated MMA career to come to AEW. He debuted on the first Dynamite.
I don't know, man. I've never been a big Jake
Question:
Hager
who
fan.
doesn't want to see Jake Hager?
Most people, I would assume.
And most people are wrong. But
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the
Yeah.
Jake Hager slander is uncalled for. You've convinced me. I am a Jake Hager stan now.
yeah,
I like his hat. I don't know about his him as a wrestler. He's fine, I guess. I don't know. He's a bit boring, but yeah.
He has a nice hat.
he has his entertaining moments.
You know, and bear with me here because this is a segue.
Uh-oh.
Jake Hager, you've convinced me as a real bro, I suppose. I suppose that's the word you can say. Speaking of bros, we go on to a bro session with MJF and Adam Cole. Rate out of 10.
Man,
No?
they're just. What did you say?
Oh, I thought I was saying rate my segue out of 10.
Oh, I thought you were saying rate the segment. That was a nice segue.
Thank you. My ego is boosted even further.
I'm gonna get an air horn. I swear. I always say I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get the segue air horn someday.
Yeah. Anyways, now going on to the segment. Now that my ego has been satisfied, we go to. I'm gonna just like kind of explain what happened, and then we can get into the analysis of it. So Adam Cole and MJF are in a parking lot, and MJF is like, "Yo, we're homies, but why are we in the parking lot? I hate poor people," which relatable. That's a joke. I have nothing against poor people. I actually donated to the homeless way too much, and I ended up getting scammed. But you know, session for another time. So they go into this spicy food Chinese restaurant because MJF is scared of spicy stuff, and also poor people. And anyways, they end up eating spicy food, and they're just like kind of chilling it out, bro session. And it ends up being a bit too spicy, so they get drinks. They get water, more supposedly water, because it's actually 100% alcohol. And long story short, they double clothesline a waiter, which I believe is a crime. So they're probably going to jail.
You believe it's a crime?
I believe so. I've never tried it personally.
Well, it's not a crime if you don't get caught.
They were getting filmed.
They're on live TV.
Anyway,
The cost.
Yeah, but MJF doesn't watch back Dynamite. Maybe the
Cops
police
do. Anyways, what did you guys think of the segment? I'll start with Jordan because he was already speaking before I interrupted to boost my ego.
It's good. But man, I'm not the biggest MJF fan. I remember I didn't really vibe with him, but man, this stuff he's been doing with Adam Cole is just peak. This all I can describe it as peak everything. It's incredibly entertaining. There's some layers because you got Roddy in the back. We can talk about Roddy in a second. You got Roddy in the back. You got MJF. MJF is like Randy. You can't really trust MJF. As good as he is gonna seem he can get, you can't really trust him. But overall, this is funny. This is just hilarious.
You why too?
Yeah, this segment is another just tremendous segment between Adam Cole and MJF. I've really been enjoying these. MJF, I don't know what is their chemistry. MJF so over the top, telling the story about slamming a 650-pound Big Bill at the Saskatoon Silverdome. It's just, I don't know. I love the chemistry between these two, and I am personally gonna be sad when the team breaks up.
Me too, and we'll talk about that later. Anyways, do you want to get into the MJF Adam Cole promo now that was later in the show, or do you want to get into the 5-star match of Britt Baker versus Kayla Sparks?
let's talk about that match because man, that was entertaining. We saw backflips off ladders, chair shots, exploding barbed wire, all the sorts,
I think
all
it's
within like what?
I think it's really overshadowed the blood and guts match personally. I did a bit too much in this.
Man, I'm surprised the crowd didn't go dead.
Okay, so for people who haven't seen this, just not to mislead you, this was basically a match for Tony Khan to say, "Hey, we had women on the show. Don't call me misogynistic, please." Um, so it's Britt Baker versus Kayla Sparks, and Britt Baker wins. That's pretty much all you can say about it. It was the definition of a squash match, which I make jokes, but like I don't mind a good squash match. It's a good win on TV, kind of keeps you in the conversation. Like it was really a nothing match, but when you have the blood and guts match, like you don't need every match to be a 5-star thriller. Like we can have a you
Well,
okay.
it just feels like it was pointless. Like I wish, even though it's just a basic squash, I wish they could have at least teased an angle, or maybe like the Outcasts are watching. But Britt Baker just winning in this quick fashion, and it just felt random. I mean, I wish it would lead somewhere. Even they could have connected it more with the Adam Cole story. If maybe she walks past in the camera to at least feel like it has a purpose on the show. But I have no problem with Britt winning though.
Really? You didn't think Kayla Sparks would have won?
I mean, Action Andretti won. I mean,
I was just thinking of Action Andretti.
Yeah, poor Andretti. Rocky strap without the gas.
So, anyways, my
It's
only
pretty good,
real
though.
note on this is maybe it shouldn't have been Britt. If you're gonna give this like pointless squash match to someone, maybe give it to like an upcoming star who people aren't like very aware of, to kind of just to give them the TV time. But that's just me. I don't know. Like maybe she's getting some TV time, but maybe like a nice one for Sky Blue, nice one for Athena, who doesn't get on TV a lot because she's on
RH.
yeah.
I don't care what woman it is. It's just like I feel like it should have at least planted a seed or like even just moved along a story. As long as you're shooting an angle or teasing an angle, I think this would have been more acceptable. But it in its current form just was a waste of time.
Yeah, like nothing crazy. It's like it was a few minutes, but like
It
you
was
do,
there.
yeah, basically. And also while we're talking about this, I feel like there should have like at least one woman segment on this show. Like it felt like a very male-dominated show.
There was something. I think it was. So I think they set up something with Chris and Marina Shafir. I think that was the
Oh
other one.
yeah, I think yeah. That match is happening on Rampage.
Yeah, but there should have been a bit more, in my opinion, at least.
Is I mean that
It's one show, though. It's not like the end of the world.
Well,
No.
I'm not defending AEW, but on this because they should have more women's focused matches and stories to build that division. But to be fair to AEW, there was there was a lot of things that weren't on the show because of the format. The Blood and Guts needed an hour of time on TV. So I mean, naturally things got cut out. There were some guys that had been on TV or who usually aren't, and a lot of them will probably be in the Royal Rampage on Friday or the Ring of Honor pay per view or maybe even on Collision or whatever. So I think it's just a unique show format of Blood and Guts where that some people definitely missed out on tonight's show.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like it's a problem, but I'm not gonna spend like 20 minutes talking about how this is a colossal failure or something like that, saying AEW is doomed because of like one show where an hour match took place. It's a discussion for another time how they've treated the women's division. I believe it's getting better, but not a massive deal in my opinion. We're just kind of there, and I do agree that they should have developed a story with this. But nonetheless, any final thoughts on this classic between Britt Baker and Kayla Sparks?
I have one more thing. When's the rematch?
Kayla Sparks revenge.
It's at Wembley.
Let's go.
Let's hope.
Uh,
Kayla Sparks strikes back.
So we go from an MGF and Cole segment to a Britt Baker and Kayla Sparks match to another MJF and Adam Cole segment. Cole and Baker run the show, baby. So basically they're kind of like trading gear. Like, I made you gear. Oh my god, I made you gear, and it's really. I'm gonna use the word cute because that's weird for two grown men. I'm gonna say wholesome, I guess. It was really wholesome. It was like really fun. I'm just having a great time. And this actually makes me sad for what happens later, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And as they're walking off, you can see Roderick Strong with
The Nichols.
really bad acting saying,
He
Adam!
he
Go
he's
on.
always been the guy in ring. He was acting as because I remember when he was originally doing this stuff in NXT when he was getting hunted by Dexter Loomis. I was like, man, this guy is he's kind of a little bit, you know, when it comes to when he's with in the scenes with Kyle and Adam, he kind of do fall back a little bit. So he's mostly in ring, but it was kind of funny seeing him do that. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, the only like real note I have, other than the fact that it was kind of funny, is Roderick Strong versus MGF should be the direction for a big Dynamite match. What are your thoughts on this, John? Or Y2, or whatever we're gonna call you.
Yeah, no, I again I enjoy the chemistry with Cole and MJF with the matching trunks, the teasing of the double clothesline, the jacket, everything, and then yeah, Roddy just kind of he got his shoulder. And it was ridiculous, but you know, it's not Roddy's fault.
Poor Roddy. Anyways, we get to. In my notes, I wrote Garcia Swerve versus Cole MJF, but it's Garcia Sammy versus MJF and Adam Cole. What do you guys think of this match slash dance off? I'll start with
I want to
Adam.
talk.
I'll start off
Yeah.
because I absolutely loved it. I do enjoy sports and entertainment when it's done right. From the moment coming out, to even just like, I really enjoyed Daniel Garcia's dance as like a taunt. It's more of like I guess more meant to be a heel taunt, but the crowd loves it. I love it, and just for a dance off to start at the beginning of a wrestling match is just ridiculous in the best way.
So PWG.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia actually had some moves. It's probably because of their culture, but I actually thought they were cooking in terms of dance moves. MJF, his dance moves were alright, and then Adam Cole is downright embarrassing. He needs to take a dance class immediately.
The rhythm was off. Everything was
Like
off.
Should we just become
And
like a
then-
dance podcast?
I mean, I
Wrestling
would be down. And then Tony Nese just interrupts the podcast and does a training session.
Anyways, when it comes to the match itself, pretty good action. Like, I love me flips. I love me chaos, carnage. I love me the modern style of wrestling. I'm not gonna lie to you, but there's something euphoric about stuff like a basic dive and a double clothesline getting massive reaction from the crowd. Like, this was, I was jumping like out of my seat for this match. This was like,
Yeah, me too.
it was insane. Jordan, we haven't gotten your thoughts on this match slash dance off. What do you think of this?
Let me open my notes because I got a long list of notes here. Quick, because I know I noted that this match was, even though there was some wrestling, it was mostly about those moments. This was a sports entertainment match through thick and thin. Uh, but one thing I want to just quietly note, man, Adam Cole is at, I don't care which anybody said, Adam Cole is at his best when he's at that leg slapping, spamming super kicks moment. 'Cause he was making sure everybody ate some,
He killed
except for
Sammy.
he, Sammy's gone. But yeah, it was entertaining. Uh, I couldn't believe I was sitting there popping for a regular dive, just flat
Yeah.
out.
It's
Especially
just
when you're.
it's
Wait,
just
so what
tremendous how they just built up a dive, and everybody popped for, because like that dive has been so overused in wrestling, and it's just in terms of, and sometimes it's turned into a transition move at this point. The only guys, I mean, there's two guys that do great dives through the middle rope, and that's, in my opinion, Darby Allin and Ray Phoenix, who really try to make it seem like they're trying to murder the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
But and then in building to a double clothesline, the teases, I mean, it's just entertaining. And then the crowd was great tonight, building to that double clothesline. Even more fake outs with Sammy Guevara countering, doing a double Spanish fly, which I thought was cool. And then finally that ultimate moment that everybody's been waiting for weeks. They finally hit it, and ironically, it's a basic move, but they finally hit the double clothesline. I was so happy.
Do you guys agree that was the right winner? I'm going to start with Jordan.
Wait, what did you say?
Do you think it was the right winner, or would you have had Sammy and Garcia go over?
I'm not gonna lie. There was nothing in Sammy and Garcia winning. I'm not. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was something, but my mind is just instantly going blank. Because although you could have just told the breaking out story right there, I feel like it would be a lot more interesting for MJF and Adam to try to go for that gold and have the breakup there. You feel, rather than just having that breakup at the moment because, oh snap, we couldn't win the tournament. And Sammy and Garcia really didn't need the win for that moment. I guess you could say they kind of did if you were continuing the breaking part from Chris Jericho storyline, but they were doing that naturally, so they didn't really need the win. So in my opinion, this was the right decision. Plus, they had to hit the double clothesline somehow.
Absolutely. We have kind of like two paths to go on now. Where there were like two really important storyline notes happening just in the post angle of this match. What do you call it?
The post
Postman.
Post match angle. Yeah. Okay. Um. So we had, for one, Garcia and Sammy kind of blowing off Jericho, which seems to confirm that the Jericho Appreciation Society is on its last knees, if not already over. What did you guys think of this? I'm going to start with you, I2.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the turn of events, especially if Jericho is going to be joining the Don Callis family. I think Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara have a lot of potential going off on their own eventually. I'm excited for the ROH pay-per-view Friday. Daniel Garcia versus Shibata for the pure title. Going to be a completely different match than this tag team match, but I think it's going to be glorious, just mat-based technical wrestling. I think they're going to tear each other apart.
You, Jordan?
I feel like this is the Chris Jericho cycle. He gets for AEW, and to be honest, I'm not sure how if I I'm not I think I would enjoy it because it's pretty much just Chris Jericho starts a faction, is in the faction. The faction sees Jericho isn't really all that. They turn on Chris Jericho. He starts a new faction. The faction sees Chris Jericho isn't all that. It turns on Jericho. And we also had this mini twice in each of the factions. Because with the inner circle, we had them pretty much about to turn on him when they was with MJF, right?
Yeah, man. Like, Sammy Guevara is like that on again, off again relationship where all of his friends are telling him, this relationship isn't worth it. He isn't for you. And Sammy's like, no, I believe. He keeps going back. Sammy, it's not a good idea.
It's only hurting him, but I think both of them are just face bound. Uh, both Garcia over with just his dance, and let's not forget he was at one point the hottest thing because of the whole "I'm a professional wrestler." No, I'm a sports entertaining. No, you are a professional wrestler. Thing he had with uh Brian, and it's nice to see Sammy getting a little bit of backing behind him because he wasn't the most popular guy for a while. So seeing them split is going to be very entertaining, and of course, Chris Jericho is going to be Chris Jericho. He's going to go find something to do.
We move on.
That's
Go on.
okay. Give me one point, and then I'm gonna pass it back to you. I'm actually thinking, what is 2.0 gonna do?
Ooh. I mean, comedy tag team stuff, I guess, could work. They haven't really been involved in the Jericho Appreciation Society for the past few months, really.
They haven't been doing anything.
That sucks. I like them.
Yeah, it's a shame because I do enjoy them as well. They should not come to the Don Callis family. I mean, I like 2.0, but I mean that faction is going to be top tier. I'd like to see them even just throw them out on TV more and let them wrestle. I mean, they have a lot of charisma. You can even maybe make them a focus in the Ring of Honor tag team division, or maybe even put them over to Collision, because besides FTR and Bullet Club Gold, I think I mean, you do have the Guns, FTR, the Guns, Bullet Club Gold, but maybe the smartest decision is to send them to Collision, and they could be one in the mix. And I think even them being in the mix could elevate their stock, which is quite low at the moment.
We move on, and I'm gonna have to take the lead here because I really want to talk about this. Adam Cole is holding the AEW World Championship, right? And MJF notices it and he snatches it from him, and there's like these seeds of dissension. MJF screaming at him, "Why are you looking at my championship?" And Adam Cole's trying to explain, and they hug it out, but you can see MJF staring with like this empty expression on his face, and like he kind of clutches to his championship as he celebrates. FTR come out later, which we'll talk about, but I just want to talk about this for a moment. MJF's character is so layered in insecurity. Like he's trying to live up to what he believes he is in his head, and he's made a genuine friend. I genuinely believe, character-wise, MJF loves Adam Cole. But he's so insecure that he's going to throw it away out of fear. Fear that he's letting his guard down, and fear that he has to be 3 steps ahead. I think that this is going to be a breakup that MJF was not planning from the beginning. Like, I don't think this is I sure got you moment. I feel like MJF truly got connected with Adam Cole, and I feel like this is going to get those thoughts bubbling in MJF's head. That this man is trying to take your championship away from you. The thing that MJF said was the only reason he's alive, the only reason he didn't get a fistful of pills, he said in a promo, after his, I believe his divorce, after he broke up with his fiance. So like, this championship is like the reason he lives. And to see someone he's so close to look at it the way that Adam Cole looked at it, like, it's going to bring up jealousy, it's going to bring up fear, it's going to bring up insecurities. And I feel like this is such a beautiful story of a man who is so broken by what people have turned him into, the bullying in his past, that he's going to lose like the only man who truly cares about him in the wrestling world. I'm going to pass it over to you, Jordan. Before I do this, FTR come out and they kind of have an interaction, like building up to the match, but like that's basically a basic storytelling moment. What did you think of this segment, Jordan?
First things first, I'm gonna say, Cosk, you better cook. Ain't that right?
Hell yeah.
Man, that just took all the words out of my mouth. Because I wish I was about to just say, MJF, he's like Randy Orton, like I said before. You can't really trust him. He's gonna look out for him and then him himself. But now that has me thinking, is he really gonna try to fully look out for himself? Because ever since AEW, no, the only thing he's had closest to a friend like this is, I gotta say, because remember the whole time he was playing Chris. The only thing he has had closest to an ally he can trust like this in AEW was, I guess, Cody. Because even then he was still using Wardlow like a
Sean
puppet.
Spears, he was pretty cool with.
Not to the same
Not to the same
level
level,
that
I agree.
that he's close to Adam Cole or Cody Rhodes.
It was more like how Jay treated the baddies. They were more like lowers to her. She had them as accessories. She didn't really care about them, and that's how I felt like he felt about most other people, except for when he was kicking it with Cody. But with Cody, it was him turning. Now I think he might have that thing like, now this might come back to hurt me because now he's gonna be scared Adam might turn on him because Roddy's still gonna be in Adam's ear. Ooh, hold on, now I'm double interested in this.
Your thoughts, White?
Yeah, no, it's just been a tremendous story. That has a lot of layers that in it. As for Roderick Strong, if Roddy, quite frankly, is the reason this team breaks up, I'm going to be very upset at him. I will root against him in all his matches. I'll order Samoa Joe to go like smash him into a chair, make him wear that neck brace for 3 more months. But
Damn.
But yeah, no, it's been a tremendous story. I presume that this is going to be a big all-out main event, and or no, not all out, all in. It should be all in. All in's the bigger show, in my opinion. But and then you have the question of, this storyline is hot. This has been the best Adam Cole that we've seen in AEW since his arrival. The question is, do you do the title change? I don't know, especially since it depends on the story with MJF holding the belt in 2024 when his contract comes up, and then also CM Punk facing MJF for the title. He technically never lost, but I think it's at least something you have to give consideration because Adam Cole and the storyline is hot.
Quick segue. Do you guys think MJF resigned? Because I'm pretty sure he resigned.
He resigned.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, anyways. Like, now that we got that settled, because, like, I do not believe for a second that he has not resigned, but I think they're just pretending he's not for the 2024 story. But anyways, let's move on to, I would say a nothing segment, but it leads to a banger match next week, which we will be reviewing. Darby, Nick Wayne, best friends promo. They kind of set up future matches. I said kind of twice. So they set up Marina Shafir versus Chris Statlander, which sounds like a typical Rampage match, I'm not gonna lie. They also set up that Darby and Nick Wayne are going to be in the
Royal Rampage.
Royal Rampage, yeah. And that they're going to be targeting Swerve. So I feel like if this leads to a pay-per-view match between Swerve and Darby, then
can I just get a quick thing in?
Yeah.
Bro, when is this Keith Lee versus Swerve Strickland match gonna happen? I mean, the split happened last November. This is atrocious.
Wait, it's August now, right? Or July?
Oh,
it's July. It's July.
Yeah, closer to August, but it's still July.
So how many months has that been? That's been 9 months.
Lot.
You could have had a baby in between the time that they split up and before they have their next match.
It was brutal, and then what did that guy, the Parker Boudreaux, and what's his name? French. Yeah. That's how long the story's been going on. I mean, French signed a contract with the company, and it expired. And this Keith Lee versus Swerve Strickland match still hasn't happened. They just got to do it. Do it on the next show possible. And just
get on a random Rampage if you don't want to, just for the payoff.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Maybe Courtney.
you're gonna have to let me cook again here.
All right.
Darby Allin tells Orange Cassidy, "Hey, this isn't a give out or anything. This isn't a handout, but I know a guy who's done me a lot of solids, who's a hell of a worker, who I wouldn't be here if I didn't know I wouldn't be here with be here with. What am I saying? Who if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. There we go. And that's A.R. Fox. Orange Cassidy says yes. Next week it's official. A.R. Fox versus Orange Cassidy. And I just have to say, oh my god, I'm excited for this one. Like, Jesus Christ. A.R. Fox, if you've seen his work, he is incredible. He is so smooth. He is an innovator in this industry. And, like, for him to get this opportunity, like, the singles TV match is beautiful to me. I'm really, really excited for this one. What do you think of it, Jordan?
Origin. Because I know. Okay. Wait. Hold on. So, give me a second to get my thoughts straight. Give me 1
Do you want
second.
me to go to Y2 instead while you get your thoughts?
Yeah, no, yeah, I can hop in and then we can go back to
Yeah.
it.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a good match. I like A.R. Fox. He's underrated. I've enjoyed some of his work when he was teaming with Top Flight in the trios division and the various trios, and yeah, no, he's definitely unique. I'm not as high on A.R. Fox as you are, but he definitely is pretty good, and I'm sure it will be a nice match between him and Orange Cassidy.
Jordan, do you have your thoughts or do you want to move on?
Okay. I got my thoughts.
Hi,
It's nice to see. Not Wesley. Wesley just lost his title. It's nice to see Orange Cassidy continue his workforce mentality with the title, because we already know this. As soon as he gets in the ring with AR Fox, these two dudes they finna bang. They finna have a great match. Uh, but now I'm just thinking, are we? And I don't want to put this on Orange Cassidy, and I don't want to put it on the title because I've been enjoying all the stuff that's been going on with it so far. But I'm kind of thinking, are we stagnant with it? Are we just having matches that have matches with it? Because I know a lot of people have been saying, is Swerve gonna take the title off of him? And Swerve he was kind of going dealing with Orange Cassidy, but then he swerved, no pun intended, to Darby. And is Rush gonna take the title off of him? Because Rush is a big name that people were talking about, and now people are saying he's gone, and I don't even know what's going on with that story.
Kota Ibushi?
Huh? Oh,
Would Kota Ibushi
never
work?
mind. Kota Ibushi will work.
I would love that.
He's
He's the first name on my mind.
with Cassidy, I mean, you could really have anyone. I mean, win, and I think there's a lot of different ways you can go. I don't know. I really like Ibushi, but I personally wouldn't go with him as the international champion right away because I mean he just signed with the company. I don't know how I feel about just straight up going to giving someone the title right away. I mean, but eventually, down the line, Bushi would be great. I think they should have went with Swerve Strickland.
I agree.
But and real quick, as for Roosh, I don't know exactly what's going on. I think we'll get an update soon. I saw he posted a picture online with like a wrestling picture, but he was with his family. Dragon Lee was there, so I don't know exactly if he I think if I had to levy a guess, I think he's gonna go to WWE. But I mean, at the same time, I don't know. I think Tony Khan definitely had some plans with Roosh, with maybe the Andrade stuff. I don't know. Maybe it'll still happen. Jose teases some things on Twitter, but yeah, no. I hope Roosh stays in AEW because he's a tremendous wrestler. He had one of my favorite matches of the year against Bryan Danielson in February. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
We move on to this match that the show is named after. The highlight of the show, I would argue, like undoubtedly, the main event. Blood and got 3. So, the first participants of this match were Claudio Castagnoli, who it's his second time being the second time in a row starting off the Blood and Guts match, which I thought was an interesting fact. And for the first time in, I believe, his career, Kenny Omega is entering a War Game style match, which I found to be fascinating. Well, for one, let's just start off. Kenny Omega and Claudio in the same ring. Oh my god. And for 2, what a way to start off the match, and what a match it was, in my opinion, or what a roller coaster it was, because there was good and there was bad, in my opinion. Like, it was quite up and down. I'm gonna start with Y2. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great match. So the opening of the match with Claudio and Omega, I love both guys, but I didn't feel like it was like the starting off with a bang. I mean, it was an hour match. Obviously, you're not going to do the big thing, but I feel like once Moxley went in, hit the fan. Moxley just is a sick fuck. He does this stuff for fun. He whips out broken glass. He's just ramming forks into people.
Bed of
He
nails.
has like a thing with the nails. It's like he has to get some personal enjoyment out of this, and obviously Blood and Guts is just his match. I'm sure he loves. I mean, deathmatch wrestling, as in general, I mean, I enjoy it, but I don't want to see it too often. I could stomach a few death matches a year and enjoy it, but I mean, sometimes it's a bit much. As for some of the stories, because I won't talk about the whole match because then we'd be here forever. But one of the stories in the match was the dissension between Pac and Claudio Castagnoli, which ultimately led to Pac walking out of the cage, leaving his team high and dry, which I know has drawn mixed opinions overall. I mean, it is in line with Pac's character. I remember he's walked out on Moxley before in the beginning era of Dynamite. Pac is a man that walks alone. What do you guys think of the match?
Before we move on, and then after this I'll give the floor to Jordan to cook. When we're talking about the walkouts, because let's just go to the finish for a minute, and then we can kind of go backtrack. Essentially, if the finish happened because Pac and Takeshita walked out. Pac because of issues with Claudio, and Takeshita because he kind of realized, or Callis realized, hey, this isn't going our way. We need to get the hell out of here. And then the Golden Elite would handcuff both Claudio and Mox and choke out Wheeler Yuta until Papa Mox had to give up to save his boy. How sweet. But anyways, when it comes to this, and that's why I wanted to take the floor for a bit, I would be fine with Pac walking out because it's a part of his character. I feel like it fits his character. I would be fine with Takeshita walking out, probably even more, because Takeshita and Callis are out for themselves. That fits their character.
Callis wants to protect his investment.
Absolutely. What I'm not for is both of them doing it. I think that's overkill. Like, you kind of have to choose one or the other, because when both of them come out of the cage, like leave, then then it's overbooking. It's like kind of TNA style stuff, and I don't think people want to see that from this match. I don't think people want to see like this match kind of descend into chaos where people are just leaving the cage because they feel like it. Like, if it's one character doing it, then it's like, that's cool, and I would be fine with it. I was actually all for Takeshita leaving, but Pac also leaving, I feel like it's overkill.
Well, I can bring up a quick point. Obviously, we'll get to Jordan, but with Pac leaving, there's a question of, was this originally planned with the match? Because Bryan Danielson was going to be the fifth man, and with Mark Briscoe injured, this might have just been the way for Tony Khan to shoot an angle for the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. So maybe the original plan was just Takeshita walks out
You
in the
know how I would
Blackpool
do it?
Combat Club. So I guess you could say maybe this was criticism was marred by injuries, per se.
You know how I would have done it though? I would have had
No.
I would have had, instead of like a kind of weak clothesline, like to kind of go around it, have Claudio like set up a really really big move and accidentally hit Pac and kind of have something in the post show. Like have this be at like the final of the match right before the finish, and have Pac be like completely knocked out. Maybe he's going for like a massive uppercut, and he hits Pac and he knocks him out. Like for a good like 2-5 minutes while they can do the finish, and then in the post show you can kind of set it up, in my opinion at least. Anyways, before we continue on, let's give the floor to Jordan. It's your time to cook.
Let's see. I have a huge list of notes, but I'm not gonna go down all of it because we would be here for about another hour or so. So I'm just gonna give a quick rebuttal of most of the things. Number one, now officially in my head, John Moxley, his new nickname is Murder Dad. Like Suzuki is Murder Grandpa, he is now Murder Dad because he came out and I was like, he is walking out here like an angry father. By the way, he wasn't 10 seconds into the match. He wasn't 5 seconds into the match and instantly got in and started stabbing somebody. That's the Moxley I pay good money to see. But anyways, I got this hint. I got this and I was like, Moxley, he really hated the Elite, right? But it was something about him that had to give it up to save Yuta. And that's his protege. And that had me thinking, yeah, I don't think we're destined for the next 5 months to have heel BCC. Not gonna lie, I think we're going back to them being faces.
Actually, I have news on this. I believe it was a Ceres tweeted, although this was not like a report because it was literally just something people saw who were in the arena. After the match, BCC and the Elites shook hands, and the Golden Elite said they have respect for the BCC.
Oh, well, there goes face BCCs. But anyways, let's see. I feel like there was a lot of good spots. Funny enough, there wasn't a lot of blood and guts. I feel like the only people who were bleeding were Mox and Yuta, ironically.
Bleeding so much.
Which, like father, like son, which that also adds to my theory of Yuta being. I'm confident Yuta is Mox's biological son.
I agree.
But I feel like another thing I like was the individual interests and made everybody feel impactful. I'm now. Oh yeah, one more thing before I move on to the other people. The crowd is a whole bunch of sick people for demanding we want fire.
I didn't hear that.
Not even table. Like they said tables, and then they said fireworks, and they said straight up fire. And I'm like, don't give Mox any ideas, please. But I overall enjoyed the match. I was losing my mind at most of the spots. Kenny got slammed onto a bed of nails. How did they clear that? I don't know. I forgot. Was it Nick or Matt? One of them made it rain glass from the ceiling.
Thumbtacks.
Thumbtacks from the ceiling. And then Kota.
Actually.
Well, actually, it was thumbtack. And then Kota came in. Man, I'm not sure what Wheeler thought he was gonna do, but he got slammed. But he got dealt with in quick fashion. But he got in that ring and he threw hard haymakers. Go back and watch it. I thought he was shooting for real on these people. And then it was that look that he gave Mox when he was stepping on his hand, like, Mox, get off my mans before I kill you. Which I'm surprised we didn't see Murder Ibushi come out. It was just regular Kota, which was nice to see.
I have notes on that. I feel like they didn't really showcase Kota Ibushi enough. The thing I was most excited about in this match was Kota Ibushi is fine to cook. He's like gonna show out. He's gonna show the American audience what he can do. Well, most of them know who watches this show, but like really, this is his first appearance on AEW. This is his biggest platform for America, and he just kind of felt there, which he did a good job, but he didn't really showcase. Do you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, and I was looking at it like, and I was like, because I'm happy to see Kota, but I was like, there's not a lot of focus on Kota actually, and there's not a lot of things he's doing. And he did look gassed in some spots. He was missing a few kicks. He was off here and there. But I was like, his foot got a decent amount of blood on it. So I was like, is his foot injured? So maybe keep your eye out for that. I know you said one of the Bucks might be injured.
Yeah,
But I
that's
was
just
like,
speculation, though.
speculation. So this is just speculation on my end because he looked somewhat off, but it's still Kota Ibushi. He's the one who after the match dived onto some thumbtacks. I was looking, so we still got Crazy Man Kota back, so that's lovely to see. Uh, it's not long until we get Juice and Jay, hopefully, versus the Golden Elite. So fingers crossed.
That sounds amazing.
See, we
So,
always got a hook.
overall, we talked about this match, and it was a great match, in my opinion. A bit of a controversial finish. Like, I was personally for it, but I feel like it was kind of overdone. Like, the bombs these guys took were incredible.
Well,
Huh?
hold on. The one thing with Ibushi that I would say is my favorite part was when he did the moonsault onto the nails. That was great.
Yeah.
And then also, I have just a general thought, and it's not really just for this match, but it's just a general criticism of the blood and guts, and I guess you can even say the cage matches in AEW, where the point of the cage is you're supposed to be locked inside that cage. In every iteration of this blood and guts, it seems so easy to escape this cage. I mean, they're fighting on top with the steel cage with Omega and Moxley. Don Callis just gets in the cage. I mean, I feel like escaping the cage every time like this so easily. I feel like it hurts the cage match stipulation, or kind of you know what I mean. Defeats the purpose, and
It hurts the aura of it, in my opinion.
Funny enough, I see what you're saying, but the only reason I usually like I'm sitting there not saying anything about them escaping the cage is because in two blood and guts in a row, we had somebody take that classic just flop off the cage, which I thought Yuta was gonna be taking this time, but it didn't happen.
So, before we wrap things up, would you guys say, and I'm going to start with Jordan, then we can take it to White too. Would you guys say that this was the best Blood and Guts of all time, or do you think there's been better?
I might have to go back and watch the other blood and guts, specifically. No, that was Anarchy in the Arena, my fault. But I'm gonna have to go back and watch the other blood and guts. But I felt like this one was the most out of pocket, chaotic. Now it wasn't the bloodiest out of the bloodiest. But it was. I feel like this one, in terms of everything, was incredible.
I'm still yet to see Guts in this Blood and Guts match, so it's false advertising in my opinion, but I digress.
Stop giving much ideas. Stop.
I'm sorry. Why too? What are your thoughts on this?
It's a good question. As Jordan said, I'd probably have to go back and watch it. Would I say it was the best? My gut says no, but I'd have to watch it back because I do remember the first one. I really enjoyed. I mean, obviously the thing with Jericho at the end was a bit, that was more of a production thing though. But I enjoyed that story. And then last year I remember it was really good too, but was Santana just like had to be taken out in the beginning of the match. So I guess I'd have to look back at it, but I don't know. Sometimes this match, I mean, this is a really difficult match. An hour. It has to be intricate planning. I feel like the other Blood and Guts match, I felt like were more, a bit more structured in a way.
So,
Cosk, you there?
yes, I'm here. Uh, so overall, now that we've kind of gone through the show, what do you guys think overall of the show? Do you think it was a solid show? I'm gonna start with Jordan.
Uh, Overall, yeah, it's hard to say it wasn't a solid show. Now, there were some things I would have personally changed, but I'm not the one booking it. It's Tony. But I was happy with what I saw. I feel like every part fell into its every puzzle piece fell into place nicely. There were a few hiccups here and there, but this was a nice show. If I had to give rating out of 5, I'm giving 4.7.
All right. You I too.
Hello?
Okay. Um, seems like technical difficulties have come at the very end, but
Hello?
we did it. We managed to record it. The grind is real.
Yeah.
I've been Cosk at Cosk151 on Twitter. I've been joined by Jordan at Demon Activity and Y2 Wrestling at Y2 Wrestling. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sitting through the technical difficulties. I think this was a very fun podcast. And see you next week for the next time.
I rate the show 9 out of 10. I don't know if that'll get into the
Dagon's video. There we go.
Oh, Jesus.
And I rate the video. I rate
This
the
is
show
happening at the end.
8 out of 10. I've been Kosk. Have a nice day.
This is